So work-life balance, being the best career-oriented person you can be without letting it affect your personal life. It's honestly something I've always struggled with, the choices that I've made, and really that's what work-life balance is, a choice. What do you put the most value in? Is it climbing the corporate ladder, having career success, or is work just a necessary means to an ends for you? You know, you work to survive, you're anxious to get back to your hobbies and your friends and family, and end the 9-to-5 grind. For me, at about the age of 23, I decided to really pursue the chase of business. I'm very fascinated by it, and my mind sees it as levels, kind of like a video game. You know, you start at the very beginning, which is the bottom, and then as you progress, your skills level up, and then you beat level after level after level. And then you continue that cycle until you can no longer progress. Once you get there, you're like, I beat the game, I'm done, yeah. But no, in today's world, once you get to that point, typically what you do is prestige, just like in Call of Duty. You're like, what do you mean prestige? In a video game, when you prestige, it means you start again at the beginning from level 1. But all those skills and experiences that you gained from the first playthrough transfer over. It's kind of like you did a great thing at a company, you got as far as you could go, and then you're like, okay, I want to continue my career, but there's no way for me to grow at this company. I'm going to move over here. That's basically the same thing as prestiging. And you know, for me, I'm a workaholic. So when my mind likes certain processes in the work that I'm doing, it kicks into overdrive and it's almost like I'm not working at all. I've completely got that Alex Hormozy mindset to me. Work is just what I do. But some of actually almost all of my friends have that feeling of wanting to be free. Whether it's to pursue hobbies like hunting or music or spending time with loved ones, they want to be free. They want to be done with that 9-to-5 and just get on with their life. And I get it. Time is the one resource that we can't get back. This isn't that Justin Timberlake movie. So what are you going to do? We only get so much time in a day. What are you going to put your value into? I'm of the opinion that there's different seasons for different parts of our lives. And while we may want certain things now, we do the hard work so that we can accomplish them much more comfortably later. An example of this is when I bought my first car. I bought a Toyota Camry that was slightly used. It only had one owner and 60,000 miles. I call her Cammy White. Yeah, that's a little Street Fighter reference for y'all. But it was great. There was no issues. It was beautiful. There was no dents. Loved it. And there were other options out there for me. You know, I could have got a really used beater for $1,000 or $2,000 and I could have drove that around. However, I probably would have had to worry about repairs and whatnot constantly. But by working hard for a few more years, I was able to get a fine vehicle that I've barely had any issues with at all. And that season of taking the bus for a few more years, even though I was a manager, got me to where I wanted to be. And I believe work-life balance can be exactly the same way. So the first thing I recommend is make a list. Don't just go through life day by day with no objectives and no goals set. Make a list, plan it out. You can easily do this by going to like Office Depot and buying a planner with a calendar in it and then just planning out your entire week. We all know that if you don't work, you don't eat, but you want more. And if you want to take that trip to Greece, if you want to fall in love, meet your significant other, you need to be intentional with your time. I believe in setting up a 5-year plan and then following the logistics of it and letting God handle the rest, you know? We're not in control of everything, but hey, we can do all we can to try to move forward towards what we want. But don't just do this for work, go further. If you work a 9-to-5 job, well, what are you doing after? Your job ends at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. What are you doing from 6 p.m. to midnight? If time is really a valuable resource like money, should we not budget it? So a typical day in the life of John, we'll use Wednesday as an example. Every day, well, I used to wake up every day at 5 a.m. Now I wake up at 6 a.m. But what I do during that first hour is I do some reading and self-development to get my mindset right for the day. And then I typically put on a podcast and I start listening as I get ready and I prepare breakfast. So that's my time from 6 to 9 a.m. From 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., I'm working, and I have my whole day planned out on what I plan to accomplish at work. And for most people, that might be it. All right, I finished the work day. I'm done. It's cool. I can do whatever I want. But go further than that. Don't just end your calendar at 6 p.m. Continue. What are you doing from 6 p.m. to midnight? If you're really aiming to have that healthy work-life balance, you need to be intentional with your time. On Wednesdays, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., I attend Bible study. And then after that, from 9 p.m. to usually 11 or 12, I plan some time for fun, some me time. And that could be watching a TV show, it could be playing a video game, it could be reading, it could be drawing. There's many things that I can do, but it's my time. And then I try my best to go to bed at a certain time, so that way I can wake up bright and early the next day, and it's on to the next schedule. And remember, it's your schedule. You can do whatever you want on it, but write it down. So yeah, step 1 is making a list. Step 2 is assigning value to it. Put some real thought into that list. In the hours that you're not working, what's important to you? Is it your health? Is it going to the gym? Is it getting that beach body, Is it cooking? Is it learning how to make that great meal? Is it meeting that significant other and going on dates? Well, plan for it. Put those things into priorities and then put them on your schedule. If you have a goal of owning your own business, prioritize it. Work at it little by little every single day. If you have a plan of, learning a new sport or an instrument, plan for it. Put that on your schedule and work on it every single day. For me, I have what are called non-negotiables. So those are things that I'm going to get done on my list no matter what. And if I end up getting deviated for some reason, I make sure I reschedule them and they're the number 1 priority for me the next day. Some people do what's called a marker system. So, they have their book, they write out their list of what they're going to do for the week on their planner, and then they have a blue, a green, a yellow, a orange, a purple. And with that marker system, they assign different values and priorities to that list. I don't personally do that, but I've heard it works really great for people, especially college students. So that might be something to keep in mind. And then step number 3 is going to be stick to it. Don't just write it down and forget about it. Rock that thing. A lot of people know what they want out of life, out of a career, but they rarely do the steps to achieve it. In my opinion, consistency is key. Actually, consistency is king when it comes to accomplishing great things. Putting in the work day after day to get your desired result. And one of the best ways to get there is by following your roadmap and doing what you say you're going to do. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, says in order to form a habit, you want to 1, start with an incredibly small habit, 2, increase your habit in very small ways, 3, as you build up, break your habits into chunks, 4, when you slip up, get back on track quickly, and 5, stick to a pace you can sustain. I feel like these tips can be extremely useful to people who are trying to balance work and life. For instance, if you know that you want that social or family balance, but you're always getting stuck at work and you're on the next project and you stay late, well, that's something you gotta work at to set a hard stop. Work on that initial small habit of stopping on time. And it might not be easy at first, but little by little, continue to work at stopping at a certain point when your day ends and you're like, okay, this is time for me and my family. And if at all possible, detach and worry about work tomorrow. But I do say that to say, don't forget what season you're in life. Sometimes a bit of sacrifice is required to get what you really want. I don't believe in settling. I hardly ever settle for anything. I'm a very picky person and I know exactly what I want and what I'm aiming for, and I typically don't stop until I get it. Just like my car example, I'll work an extra 4 to 5 years to get what I want. If you're setting up your future for success and you know it's going to take years to accomplish your goal, well, map it out. Get it done. I am all for it. But remember, it's going to be some sacrifice on the way. I had a friend who became a doctor. And while everyone was out, they're partying, they're having fun, she was hunkered down in her dorm room, really focused on her studies, so that one day she could have that nice life, have the title of doctor, have her own practice. And even though it took 10 years, she's exactly where she wanted to be. She's making the money she wanted to make, and she's happy. So know what you're willing to sacrifice in order to achieve and get what you want. As I was writing this, I was talking to a friend and we started talking about the whole concept of time budgeting, and they were saying that's something they really want to know more about. So that's probably going to become a video of its own, honestly. But yeah, that's my advice for having a work-life balance. Make a list, assign value to it, and stick to it. In my last video, I talk about how to get to promotion at work, especially if that's something you've been struggling with. So go ahead and check that one out. And if you found value in this video, like and subscribe like all your friends are doing, and I'll see you on the next one.